everyone, Olivier here. I'm back after a several month hiatus of posting videos, and I've got something pretty exciting for you today. Just in terms of, I want to say thank you so much for the support that you've given me in my couple of months off. My channel has actually been doing pretty well. My last video on the Bauhaus 2000 did really well. I want to thank you all for that, and for all the messages I've received on Reddit and Instagram of just people wondering where I disappeared to. It's kind of, as selfish as it sounds, it's nice to be missed. Today, as you probably saw from the title card and everything, I'm going to be reviewing a pen that's new to me, but I've been familiar with for a long time. This is the Lamy Imporium in the full black PVD coated finish. I got this as a Christmas gift from my wonderful boss. If you're watching this, thanks. I've been familiar with this pen for a while now, working in the Lamy store for the past 2 years. I couldn't justify the price to myself, but now that it's a gift, I can sure as hell justify it to myself. This is a pretty cool pen, and I'm excited to show it to you in some more detail. Alright, let's get up close and personal with the Lamy Imporium. So this is the black on black finish. It's a PVD coated machined brass body. So it is a super durable pen. I've seen these dropped from a considerable height in the store. And it'll dent like any pen would, but the finish is super tough, and I love that about this pen. A lot of black lacquered pens, or matte black pens, can have the issue where the finish starts coming off, shows the metal underneath. I have not seen that happen with any of these pens. It's got this shiny, glossy PVD finial. It's got this ribbed texture on the body and the grip, which I'll get to in a minute. And then the clip is this nice hinged clip that's the same material as the finial. And then the top of the cap is this dome. So it's got an interesting silhouette. It's a very unusual looking pen from the outside. Uncapping it, this is actually one of Lamy's 2 screw cap pens. So it takes about, I would say like 2, maybe 1 3/4 full turns to uncap, revealing my favorite and least favorite part of this pen. Favorite being the nib, which is a 14 karat gold PVD coated fine nib. Then it's got the standard Lamy plastic feed. And then possibly my least favorite part of the pen, which I'll get to in a bit, the grip. So the grip is ribbed, similar to how the body is ribbed, but in the opposite direction. And then you've got the threads, which aren't particularly sharp or anything. This pen is a cartridge converter filler. You've got some plastic threads here, and then the converter, pretty standard. You can use cartridges too. And then the threads on the inside are metal, which I'm not really concerned about, because it's actually just one big block thread. Normally I'd worry about plastic on metal threads, which I actually do kind of worry about on the finer plastic liner on the inside of the cap and the metal on the body. But I mean, overall, pretty durable pen. It is very heavy. But yeah, so that's kind of the external features of this pen. Now I'm going to sit down and actually write with it. The ink I'm using today is going to be one of Lamy's crystal inks. It's the Azurite. It's one of the more popular ones in the store. And for such a reason, we've been out of it for like several months. But here goes. So this nib, like all of the other Lamy 14 karat gold nibs that I've tried, is pretty lovely. It's the same style of tipping as all of the other 14 karat gold Lamy nibs. It just looks a little bit different. But I find these nibs to be super, super smooth, have good ink flow, and be very consistent in their quality control. I haven't found any issues of them, and I've honestly looked at hundreds of these gold nibs in the store. This particular one is as well tuned as the rest, if not a little bit wet just because of the ink I'm using. Azurite is pretty wet. And yeah, I really have nothing bad to say about this nib. It's a little bit soft, it's a pretty consistent line weight, and yeah, decent ink flow. So, you may ask, what do I think of this pen? I've shown you how it writes. I've shown you what it is. Well, before I say any of that, I'll tell you the MSRP. So the MSRP for this pen is $549, which plays into a lot of my opinion of this pen and why I had not bought one up until this point, even at my employee discount, which is pretty steep. To me, it feels weird that this is Lamy's flagship pen. This is their most expensive. This, as their flagship, is kind of their statement as a brand of what they want people to see them as. And I disagree with that vision. This pen is more expensive than any of the other pens that Lamy has, and yet it has less features, like less functional features than something like the Dialogue 3, which, you know, is a capless fountain pen, which is super cool. It has this whole mechanical system. It has the same gold content in the nib and everything, but it's, you know, $150 less, and it's by no means a cheap pen, but still. Compare it, say, to the 2000, which is, you know, at MSRP, which very few people are realistically paying. $220 gets you a really nicely made gold nibbed piston filler. I just don't understand why you would purchase this pen at full price. And that's just my opinion, and maybe you love this pen. But given all the characteristics of it, why would you not just buy a Studio? Also a metal pen, also can be had in some nice colors. You can get it with a gold nib. Some of the gold nib options are like $200. You can get a steel nib one for $99. Because I really don't feel like this pen has that much to bring to the table, especially considering it is extremely heavy, and the grip, while it wouldn't be a problem on a lighter pen, like if the Studio had a ribbed grip like this, it would not be such a problem. But because it's so heavy, the little bumps in there basically create areas where it's digging into your hand. And I feel like, as you know, as a design student, I would have handed this to my professor and they would have been like, why did you do that? And I'd be like, I don't know, it looked cool. If you wanted to go with the whole ribbed theme, why did Mr. Mario Bellini, infinite respect for you, I guess, but why would you not just have the ribs going vertically as well? I think it would look better and also feel better in the hand because you're not having these weird interruptions in your grip. It's like holding a pen on the threads, except the threads are the whole pen. Which is, I think, a real shame because I love the look of the nib. I love the feel of the nib. But realistically, the destiny of this pen in my collection is I'm gonna put the gold nib on my all black Studio, which is coming soon in my reviews, and just enjoy it more. Because not only that, but the clip, because it doesn't actually have like a space in it like a 2000 clip does, like you see how there's a little gap there. There's no gap here, so when it hinges, you can't really clip this to anything thicker than a shirt pocket, which is like, okay, yeah, sure, it's $600. You probably don't want to clip it to your pants pocket, but it's a durable pen. Like, I don't feel weird carrying it in my pocket. But if you were to clip it to your pants, it's gonna stick out because there will be this angle here where your pants, but it'll snag on things and probably pull the pen out of your pocket. And the spring isn't particularly strong. Which, you know, is fine if you're carrying a shirt pocket, which it works for that, even though it is a little bit long. But yeah, for $549, I would not buy this pen, and I did not buy this pen, so keep that in mind. But for the same amount of money, you could get my two favorite pens. You could get a Lamy 2000 and a Dialogue 3, which honestly, given $600, you're getting a lot of good stuff there. Yeah. All in all, it just feels weird that this is what Lamy chose to be their statement as a brand, especially given the beautiful understatedness of the 2000. And I understand that it has a place in Lamy's brand catalog, but if this were like $300, I could see it more as an option. I still wouldn't buy it, but I could see it more making sense and have like, you know, so I don't understand why the 2000 is the only piston filler. This is unrelated, but I feel like that's a wasted opportunity, especially considering how many high-end German brands have a piston filler as their flagship pen, given, you know, the Mont Blanc 149, the Pelican M1000. Those are both piston fillers, and, you know, they have a great ink capacity and all that stuff, whereas this is a cartridge converter. But as someone who's actually sold a decent amount of these pens, and I don't mean to brag, it's just kind of true, the people who are buying this pen are often not pen enthusiasts. This is for the customer who's coming in and they're looking for the nicest pen we have, which converts to the most expensive. When somebody asks me what my favorite pen is at the store, I'm never going to say the Imporium, because even though, you know, I work on commission, I'm not going to recommend a pen that is going to personally benefit my sales numbers, because honestly, they probably won't buy it. It's way expensive. It doesn't have all that much to offer in terms of features. It's cool looking. It writes decently well. I mean, and that's pretty much just the nib. The grip is, I don't like it, but that's kind of that's the that on that at the end of the day. It is an okay pen, especially when you consider the original design of this pen was in the Persona. So the Persona, I wish I still had one on hand. Somebody actually lent theirs to me for a couple months, which was very nice. But it's got like a tubular nib. I'll put a picture up here. It's got a tubular nib. The thread comes off in like a full turn, so it's easier to open. And it's got this really cool like clip mechanism where it, like, you push down on the top and it slides out, and you can actually clip it to stuff. Whoa. And that pen was not 550 new. So when they re-released the pen as the Imporium, they made it with the standard Lamy nib, which is, I understand the decision. And then they changed the clip and they made it, they just kind of standardized it down, which has been Lamy's kind of tradition in the past. Anyway, you probably get my take on this pen. I recommend you try it out. If you have the chance to, come into the Lamy store, come into any store that stocks it, and just try it out for yourself, because I'm just one dude in my room talking about pens. Please, I recommend you try stuff out before you buy. Support your local brick and mortars, and buy a 2000 in a Dialogue instead, because they're cooler pens and they write better, and you'll be happier, even if this is pretty. And that's that. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I appreciate your patience with me coming out with new videos. I am on break until like January 21st, so I'm going to try to record a lot of videos, so I have kind of almost a backlog, so I can be posting a little bit more regularly. But, you know, I'm a senior in college. I have one semester left before I graduate, so I'm kind of in crunch time, and so I may not be posting as regularly, but I'm glad to hear that people have been enjoying my content to the point of asking for more, and it feels great. And thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.